Hello and welcome to Review Me Ola. In today's video, I'll be discussing Greg Harden's book Stay Sane in an Insane World, How to Control the Controllables and Thrive. This self-help book was authored by a former sports psychologist at the University of Michigan and is based on his experience dealing with top athletes. In order to lead a more happy life and achieve more success, Harden provides helpful tips on how to handle stress, worry, and self-doubt. In this video, I'll provide a review of the book, some of the important points I discovered, and will also discuss the ideas that might make life better. The book is divided into 4 sections. The controllable power. This section examines the idea of control and how it can be applied to govern our attitudes, feelings, and actions. Greg Harden introduces the notion of control and how it may be applied to manage our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. He believes that we can only control our own ideas, feelings, and behaviors, which are the things he expects us to focus on, rather than focusing on the situations beyond our control. Harden backs up his views with data from science and experiences from his own life. He cites a study as an illustration, showing that individuals who concentrate on their controllable elements are less likely to feel stressed out and nervous. He also discusses his own experience as a sports psychologist, and how he has seen athletes gain by learning to focus on the things they can control, such as their performance, rather than worrying about things out of their control, such as the outcome of the game. One interesting thing about the book is Harden provides some valuable exercises we can use to reclaim control over your ideas, emotions, and behaviors and basically become more mindful. He goes on to tell us exercises like the controllables list to help people recognize what they can and cannot control, and in addition, he instructs readers on how to practice mindfulness, which is the technique of focusing entirely on the present moment without passing judgment. One of the most critical lessons I got from this part of the book was to concentrate on the things you have control over and let go of the things you don't, and honestly there's really no point stressing about the thing you can't control. I know it's a tough thing to do, we humans are just wired to feel safer the more we have control. But we need to realize letting go is truly vital for our mental and emotional well-being. So, be focused on the present, enjoy your surrounding, don't stress about things you can't control, and don't forget to breathe. These are some of the approaches I would take to regain control. This section basically shows us how to recognize the idea of control and how to utilize it to guide your ideas, emotions, and behaviors. Determine what you can control and what you cannot. Engage in mindfulness. Create coping mechanisms for stress, anxiety, and other unpleasant feelings. And to live a life that is more pleasant and meaningful. The Mindful Athlete, Part 2. This section talks about the value of mindfulness and how it can help us perform better and feel better. Harden defines mindfulness as the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. He contends that mindfulness is significant for athletes because it can support their ability to maintain attention and be in the now, both of which are essential for achieving their potential. Think about mindfulness like a muscle that becomes stronger the more you use it. Therefore, even if it makes you appear ridiculous, keep practicing. Harden goes on to provide some ways to practice mindfulness. For instance, he suggests the body scan exercise, which entails concentrating on various bodily areas and taking note of any sensations that exist. He also tells us about mindful breathing, which is concentrating on the breath and letting go of any thoughts or feelings that may arise. Sounds like meditation to me. Trying to control your thoughts and emotions is not the point of mindfulness. It's important to accept your feelings as they are. All of them, including the ones that have you wondering, what the hell is wrong with me? I play professional sports, and a small ball makes me nervous. You ride the waves of your thoughts and feelings just like a surfer. You simply ride the waves rather than attempting to stop them, even if you occasionally mess up and land on the sand. As a sports psychologist and athlete, Harden also offers some personal tales on how mindfulness has benefited him. He talks about how he assisted a golfer who was experiencing performance anxiety to become more conscious, and this helped him perform better. This section offered a very insightful discussion of the significance of mindfulness, and how it can enhance focus, performance, and mental health. Part 3, The Athlete Who Succeeds. This section focuses on developing a happy outlook and wholesome habits. Harden focuses on developing a good mindset and forming healthy habits in this part of his book. He discusses goal setting, motivation, and resilience and makes the case that these are all necessary for athletes to succeed. A positive attitude, according to Harden, is one that is marked by optimism, self-belief, and resilience. He contends that athletes who have an optimistic outlook are more likely to achieve, despite obstacles. He also offers advice on how to cultivate a positive outlook, including the importance of living in the moment, creating attainable objectives, and acknowledging your accomplishments. He gives the example of a teenage tennis player who was having self-doubt issues. The athlete was continuously evaluating herself in comparison to other players and considering all the potential negative outcomes. Harden encouraged the player to stay present and have confidence in herself, and as a result, the athlete began to play with greater assurance and this made her produce better outcomes. Harden goes on to talk about the value of having good habits. According to his definition, healthy behaviors are ones that are good for both your physical and mental health. He takes on the stance that adopting healthy habits can help you perform at your peak on a physical and mental level, and he offers some advice on how to create healthy habits, including the need of consistency, making incremental adjustments, and creating a support system. For instance, Harden advises athletes to start by adjusting their diet or exercise regimen just a little bit. This might be as easy as increasing your water intake or going for a walk after supper. They can then make another alteration once they establish the habit because people are most likely to maintain their good behaviors over time if they start small. He hammers down on setting goals, motivation, and resiliency. Describing goals as being time-bound, relevant, specific, quantifiable, and achievable, having the drive to accomplish a goal is how he defines motivation, and the capacity to recover from setbacks is resiliency. This section of the book offers some really insightful advice for people who desire to succeed. The recommendations Harden offers are applicable to everyday life and are based on his own experience as a sports psychologist. The Legacy Athlete, Part 4. This section is about making a difference in the world. Harden starts by emphasizing the significance of having a good influence on the world, regardless of who you are. He urges readers to use their talents and skills to improve the lives of others. Harden begins by talking about the influence of sports. He claims that sports have the ability to unite people and effect change for the better. He tells tales of how sports have been used to advance social justice, understanding, and peace. He describes, for instance, how some young people in Rwanda utilized soccer to help them recover from the genocide. The children's shared love of soccer allowed them to come together, and despite coming from various ethnic backgrounds, they were able to put aside their disagreements and create a more peaceful neighborhood as a result. After that, Harden gives advice on how players may use their platform to change the world. Among his recommendations include mentoring young people, speaking out on pressing topics, and volunteering. He also stresses the significance of being real and authentic in your attempts to change the world. He gives the example of a professional player who spoke out against racism using his position. The sportsman was prepared to put his career in jeopardy in order to defend his beliefs. This deed encouraged others to condemn prejudice and aided in the development of a more just society. The legacy athlete, according to Harden, is one who employs their abilities to change the world. He claims that these players will ultimately have the most influence. Using Muhammad Ali as a reference, a man who was not just a superb boxer but also a vocal advocate for social justice. Ali utilized his platform to denounce injustice, prejudice, and war. He gave individuals all across the world the courage to stand up for what they are passionate about. For me, I like that Harden is not simply referring to athletes who are already well-known or prosperous. No matter their skill level or amount of popularity, he exhorts everyone to use their platform to change the world, something I want my platform to do. I appreciate that Harden highlights the significance of being honest and authentic in your attempts to change the world. He contends that being real is crucial for establishing credibility and trust, since others can sense when you're acting sincere. I believe it's also critical to remember that making a difference doesn't have to be significant or showy. It can be as easy as helping out at a neighborhood soup kitchen or mentoring a young kid. For me, this section was thought-provoking and inspirational. Conclusion. In conclusion, Stay Sane in an Insane World is a helpful and inspiring book that can benefit anyone who is having problems handling stress, worry, or self-doubt. The book is filled with useful exercises and techniques that can be used to improve mental toughness, resilience, and well-being. Stay Sane in an Insane World is a superb pick if you're hunting for a book that may assist you preserve your sanity in a chaotic environment, alongside being a well-written book containing helpful information you can use in your daily life. Thank you for listening to my review of Stay Sane in an Insane World. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to my channel for more book reviews and personal development content. Your support means a lot to me and helps me to continue creating valuable content. Thank you again for tuning in. God bless.